Today's news highlights. Date March 17, 2025. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order to downsizing 7 federal agencies, with the U.S. Agency for International Media, USIM, in the spotlight, which is expected to cut the budget by 80%. Employees of VOA and other agencies were notified of administrative leave. USIM cancelled a $53 million news contract, and consultant Lake denounced it for corruption. The Ministry of Government Efficiency has frozen state-run media funding for 30 days, or it can be permanently suspended. VOA has been accused of deviating from American values and not effectively reaching China. In the future, the public media in the United States will face major changes either in reform or closure. News highlights: recently, a Chinese Navy fighter plane crashed in Hainan, and it is reported that at least 2 people have died. The official announcement of the accident was rare and quick, causing concern. The aircraft may be J-11 or J-15, indicating that the reliability of the CCP's military aircraft is serious. The accident occurred just after the conclusion of the 2 sessions of the Communist Party of China, or it may be related to infighting in the military. U.S. experts believe that the PLA military is in chaos and the probability of action against Taiwan is reduced in the short term. News highlights: China's ESP32 microcontroller chip has been exposed to security vulnerabilities, and hackers can use hidden instructions to attack IoT devices and control mobile phones, computers and other devices. The Spanish information security company Targi Security revealed that the vulnerability allows memory processing, Mac spoofing and malicious program implantation, affecting 1 billion devices worldwide. Espressif Systems has denied the allegations, saying that the hidden instructions are for testing only and that a fix will be introduced. Experts warn that China may use backdoors for surveillance and intelligence theft, and recommend avoiding these products to prevent personal and corporate data leaks. News highlights: Nvidia shares surged 13% last week, and U.S. technology stocks strengthened simultaneously. The legal person expects that the financial effect will promote the rebound of Taiwan stocks. The 4 major U.S. stock indexes rose on the 14th, with the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index rising 3.2%, and Nvidia, TSMC ADR, and UMC ADR all rising. The GTC conference focused on AI, robotics, high-performance computing and quantum computing, with more than 20 Taiwanese manufacturers participating. Legal firms are optimistic about the stabilization of Taiwan stocks in the short term, but they still need to pay attention to the impact of U.S. policies, economic data, and TSMC's legal statements. News highlights: U.S. stocks have fallen sharply recently, and investors are panicking, but Buffett stressed that bad news is the best investment opportunity. During the 2008 financial crisis, he chose to buy U.S. stocks and reminded investors to pay attention to the difference between price and value. His investment principle is greed when others are afraid, and emphasizes a long-term holding mentality to avoid panic selling due to short-term fluctuations. In addition, he warned that holding cash is not the best option, as inflation will erode purchasing power, and stocks have outperformed cash in the long run. News highlights: TSMC occupies a key position in the semiconductor value chain, benefiting from AI infrastructure spending and has an attractive valuation, making it a worthy target for long-term investors. First of all, TSMC is the world's largest wafer foundry, mastering advanced process technology, and supplying large manufacturers such as Nvidia, Broadcom, and Huawei. Second, AI and cloud giants are investing heavily in infrastructure, driving demand for advanced chips. Finally, despite the strong growth, TSMC's ADR price-to-earnings ratio is still below the market average, indicating that its valuation is attractive. News highlights: Taiwan's Ministry of Economic Affairs will hold a review meeting on electricity prices at the end of March, and it is expected that electricity prices will be raised from April, with an average increase of about 6%, mainly for people's livelihood and small businesses below 330 kWh, and the increase may be between 11% and 33%. Taking the average household electricity consumption of 338 kWh as an example, the monthly electricity bill will increase by about 100 yuan. The government stressed that this move was to make up for Taipower's losses and gradually return to the level of 2004. In addition, the adjustment of electricity prices will be based on a progressive system, and those who use more electricity will increase greatly, affecting 13.6 million households and 910,000 small shops in Taiwan. News highlights: the 46-year-old Chen Shi was recently photographed playing sports with a young woman at the Taipei Tennis Center, and the 2 wore NBA couple outfits and interacted naturally. Chen Shi has gradually faded out of the Taiwanese entertainment industry since he was injured in an accident in 2016, and has mainly developed in China in recent years. He was once the eldest son of Chen Qilai, the spiritual leader of the Bamboo Union Gang, and acted in many hit dramas. Chen Shi clarified that the woman was a friend, and said that he is currently resting in Taiwan and will continue filming in the future. News highlights: Xie Jinhe, a financial expert, analyzed President Li Qing's recent tough measures on cross-strait policy, and believed that it may be related to U.S. President Trump's active diplomatic strategy. He pointed out that Trump's attitude towards Taiwan and his tough diplomacy have sent a signal to Taiwan: if Taiwan does not firmly defend itself, how can it expect protection from the United States? Xie Jinhe believes that there are unusual factors behind last move, which reflects the United States' defense attitude toward Taiwan and deep-seated worries about cross-strait relations. News highlights Trump's aggressive tariff policy is seen as a success, especially in prompting TSMC to invest an additional $200 billion in the United States to build a wafer factory. Trump stressed that TSMC chairman Wei Jia will face high tariffs if he does not invest, which proves that his tariff policy is effective. However, experts point out that the cost and time of building a fab in the United States is high, and there are challenges in terms of labor, technical and cultural differences between Taiwan and the United States. Trump stressed that such an investment would create a large number of jobs in the United States. News highlights recently, some people bumped into a person who looked very similar to Kay Wenz on the street, and this wild Kay Wenz sat in a snack bar and ate mutton soup, which surprised the public. After careful confirmation, it was found that he had misidentified someone else and shared this scene on the internet, which aroused heated discussions among netizens. Although the similarity is extremely high, some people point out that this Kay Wenz lacks some iconic moves, which makes him different from the real Kay Wenz. The event attracted nearly 20,000 likes and sparked heated discussions. News highlights: a mother surnamed Wei in Taichung City took her two daughters to Light 480 department store on the 15th to go shopping, but was stopped by 5 police officers at the Light bookstore on the 5th floor and accused her daughter of theft. Ms. Wei said that the police officers did not explain the reason and took them back to the police station. After investigation, it turned out that the security guard mistakenly identified the youngest daughter as having made an abnormality in front of the sticker machine, and mistakenly thought that she had destroyed the machine. After the incident, Wei Nu decided to file a lawsuit for preservation of false accusations and other crimes, and accused the police of handling the incident without a thorough understanding of the situation. Light 480 apologized to customers and said it would review and improve the process. News highlights: after YouTuber couple Andy and Jianing broke up, Andy accused Jianing of taking away the channel crowd that he had run for 10 years, and said that the income was unfair. 3 years ago, Andy was preparing a surprise confession at Taipei 101, but was mistaken for a marriage proposal by Jianing and rejected on the spot, which was an embarrassing scene. Lawyer Lin Heekin believes that Jianing's refusal expression shows that she no longer loves Andy, which has aroused heated discussions among netizens. News highlights today, 17th, a strong continental cold air mass hit, and the whole Taiwan dropped sharply, dropping to about 10 degrees Celsius in the north instantly, and some open areas may be as low as 5-7 degrees C, challenging the record of the coldest March in 9 years. Experts pointed out that this wave of cold air mass will last for 7 to 9 days, with the coldest period being today and tomorrow, 18, and has the potential to escalate into a cold snap. Meteorological experts warn that especially in the north and northeast of the central part of the country, a significant cooling will be felt, with warm daytime but low temperatures in the morning and evening, so it is necessary to add clothes to keep warm. News highlights: TSMC announced on March 3 that it would increase its investment in the United States by $100 billion, about $3.3 trillion, which was jointly announced by former U.S. President Trump and TSMC chairman Wei Jia, which attracted international attention. In a recent interview, Trump emphasized that the tariff policy has prompted companies to invest in the United States, and took TSMC as an example, saying that Wei Jia is one of the most respected business people. He said that TSMC's choice to set up a factory in the United States will bring a lot of money and jobs in the future in addition to the impact of tariffs and incentives. News highlights: a woman surnamed Wei in Taichung City took her two daughters to visit Light 480 on the 15th, and was suddenly stopped by 5 police officers, saying that her daughter was involved in theft, which was later confirmed to be a misunderstanding. Wei accused the police of forcibly taking away the shopping mall without verification, causing fear to the children, and accused the police of preserving false accusations and other crimes. The police said that there were no violations in law enforcement, but that education and training would be strengthened. Wei Nu sent a letter to Mayor Liu Zaihuan, demanding that the mall publicly apologize, review the handling process, and ask the city government to investigate whether the police officers properly enforced the law to ensure the rights and safety of citizens. News highlights: Zheng Hickson, chairman of Union Technology, stabbed a man surnamed Liang, a technical chief who was about to leave his job, in the conference room on the 7th, and then injured himself and was sent to the hospital for treatment. Zhang was discharged from the hospital today, 17th, and the police will bring him back to the Xinyi police station to investigate the motive for the murder. The police found out that Liang Nan had posted a complaint in the company group about being bullied, and when he was negotiating his resignation, he asked to delete the article unsuccessfully, and he committed murder in anger. Liang Nan was stabbed 7 times in his body, and there were defensive wounds on his hand, and the prosecution dissected and sent it for examination on the 11th, and the body was returned to the family. He was investigated on suspicion of homicide, and the police were on full alert. News highlights recently, some ear cleaning parlors in Nanchang, Jiangxi province were revealed to be providing suspected pornographic services, and technicians promoted high-priced special items in the name of ear picking, and even took the initiative to tease customers. The reporter's unannounced visit found that some stores use the VIP membership system to avoid supervision, and the monthly income of technicians can reach tens of thousands of yuan, and the store claims to be able to cover it. This kind of behavior not only damages the image of the traditional healthcare industry, but also may involve illegal activities, and relevant departments need to strengthen supervision to prevent the spread of chaos in the industry. News highlights the controversy over the relationship between Korean star Kim So-hyun and the late actress Kim Sa-ryan continues to burn, and recently a photo of the two at the door of their house in 2017 was leaked on the Korean forum, but it was found that the photo had been exposed as early as 2015, causing suspicion of underage dating. Through the analysis of clothing brands and endorsement time, netizens questioned the statement of the brokerage company. The incident was fried on the Korean internet, and fans compared the details of the photos to discuss whether the man was Kim So-hyun, and the discussion continued, and the image crisis intensified. News highlights a 3-year-old boy drowned in Baitun district, Taichung City last night, and he was still declared dead after being sent to the hospital. A 39-year-old man surnamed Zhang was taking care of his 2 children alone, and was feeding his 1-year-old daughter dinner and leaving his 3-year-old son to soak in the bathroom alone. About 10 minutes later, he found that the boy was unresponsive and suspected of drowning, and immediately called the police and sent him to the hospital. The police have notified Zhang Nan to appear in the case for an explanation, and reported to the prosecutor for an examination to clarify the cause of death and related responsibilities. News highlights South Korean YouTube channel Hengzi Research Institute broke the news that Kim So-hyun and Kim Sa-ryan had been secretly dating for 6 years, and released a number of intimate photos, including a photo of Kim So-hyun washing dishes at Kim Se-ron's house with his lower body naked. Recently, a version of the photo has been leaked on the internet, showing that he is actually wearing grey shorts, and the illusion of missing underwear due to the long t-shirt is long. Netizens have doubts about the authenticity of the photo, but a video compares the decoration of Kim Sa-ron's home and confirms that the shooting location is indeed his residence, and the incident has sparked heated discussions. News highlights internet celebrity Zhong Mingxian revealed yesterday that he was terminated by his former brokerage company and was blocked by a nodding friend, and the black fans surged, resulting in excessive pressure and crying at home almost every day. He admits that there is a price to pay for saying what you want to say, lamenting that even if you succeed in your career, you don't feel happy. In order to adjust his mood, he decided to leave Taiwan temporarily and go to Queensland, Australia to recuperate, hoping to rediscover himself. News highlights the mainland's National Security Department today released an article announcing the personal information of 4 active personnel of Taiwan's Information and Communications Force, accusing them of carrying out online independence activities, and threatening to pursue lifelong accountability. The article pointed out that since its establishment in 2017, Taiwan's Information and Communications Army has infiltrated the mainland's critical infrastructure, stolen information, controlled public opinion, and used a variety of hacking tools to launch attacks. The Ministry of State Security stressed that it had mastered its attack platform and took punitive measures against the relevant personnel in accordance with the opinion on punishment and independence. News highlights recently, some netizens shared a way not to show read, you can secretly check line messages and download photos. This method is suitable for iPhone. Specifically, pull down the notification center to 1/3, press and hold and tap the chat room with the other hand to view messages and download images, return to the chat room after browsing, and then release the notification center. This method has caused many netizens to exclaim super easy to use, but if the performance of the mobile phone is poor, it may cause it to crash or show as red, so it is recommended to try it with caution. Android users will need to download other tools to do something similar. News highlights after 8 years of marriage between Korean actress Lee Si-hyun and catering entrepreneur Cho Seung-hyun, it was recently rumored that the two have divorced. According to Korean media reports, Lee Si-hyun has submitted divorce procedures to the Seoul Family Court at the beginning of this year, and the two parties are negotiating. Mr. Lee's agency said the divorce had been agreed upon, stressing that it could not disclose further details because it was a private matter. Lee Si-hyun became popular for starring in the 2nd and 3rd seasons of Sweet Home, and once disclosed the mansion with her husband and son, but now the news of divorce suddenly came out, which shocked the entertainment industry. News highlights William announced that he was promoted to be the 2nd father, and after marrying his wife Zhou, he ushered in a son passion fruit, and now he has a daughter. He shared an ultrasound photo of his wife's 6-month pregnancy on social media, and happily revealed that his daughter's name is Lemon because Zhou likes passion lemon drink. William humorously said that his home was like opening a hand-cranked drink shop, but because he had no status at home, he had to accept his wife's decision. He also revealed that his son passion fruit has begun to help his mother wipe his stomach oil, and is looking forward to the arrival of the new member Lemon. News highlights Xia Hexian recently admitted on Instagram that because of long-term use of bipolar medication, the side effects of the drug made him eat a lot, resulting in a significant weight gain, and was even ridiculed by acid people. Despite this, he said that in order to maintain his mental stability in front of his daughter, he feels that it is okay to gain weight and will continue to take his medication on time and see the doctor regularly. He also shared that his daughter is his special medicine, and whenever his daughter says Dad is so handsome, he has the motivation to continue to work hard. Hexian said that physical and mental health is the most important, and thanked netizens for their care and encouragement. News highlights: actress Jun, Cai Junru, recently celebrated her 49th birthday, and her husband Lee Yi gave a Chanel diamond ring and wrote Happy Newlywed, showing that the relationship between the two was repaired. In June, he celebrated in a low-key manner, celebrated his birthday with his family, and revealed that Lee Yi bothered to buy rings on his behalf. June is currently studying for a master's degree, trying to balance her studies and family, and laughs at herself for turning 50 years old into 30 years old. Lee Yi also shines in the community in a high-profile manner, supporting her studies and expressing love. News highlights: YouTuber Zhong Mingxian recently terminated his contract with his agency and chose to become a free body. He shared in the film that due to excessive work pressure, he often felt broken down, cried at home every day, and decided to leave Taiwan for a short time to go to Brisbane, Australia to relax. Chung admitted that although he seemed to be successful, he did not feel happy, and described his state of mind during this period as painful, and he hoped that by leaving, he could rethink and find a new direction. News highlights: Taiwan's time-honored children's clothing brand Lai Baby Fang, 2911, and satellite communication company Taeyang, 2314, will be changed to fully deliverable shares from March 18 due to poor financial conditions, whose net value has been less than half of the share capital. This means that investors must pay in full when they buy these shares, and cannot be financed or borrowed. Founded in 1971 and TNI in 1983, the financial reports of both companies show significant uncertainties and will change their trading methods in accordance with the regulations of the stock exchange. News highlights: a 71-year-old American professor who used to work at a national university in Taipei recently passed away in his apartment in Zizi District, New Taipei City. The professor had not been in contact with the outside world for several days, and the landlord and the police jointly opened the door to check and found that the professor was dead, and the cause of death was pending the prosecution's examination. Preliminary investigation showed that there was no external intervention, and death was suspected due to illness. The professor has been teaching in Taiwan for more than 20 years and is still teaching courses. The police have notified the American Institute in Taiwan to assist in contacting the family and handling the follow-up. News highlights: for the first time, the May 2025 housing tax filing will be affected by the hoarding tax 2.0, and people must set up a household registration or choose a 3-family owner-occupied house with tax exemption before March 24, otherwise the owner-occupied housing tax rate will not be applied, and the tax rate will be increased. The new regulations have 3 major changes to household owner-occupied housing. The establishment of household registration has become a new requirement, the national single owner-occupier can be deductible, and tax-free houses with more than 3 households need to choose to declare. If you do not have a household registration or miss to file a file, you will encounter a tax burden of up to 3 times or more. News highlights: a woman surnamed Wei in Taichung City took her 2 daughters to Flight 480 for lunch on the 15th, but was stopped by 5 police officers and brought back to the police station on suspicion of theft. After verification, it was confirmed that it was a misunderstanding, and the manufacturer of the sticker machine mistakenly recognized the machine failure as theft. Wei Nu was deeply dissatisfied with this, and expressed her feelings to Mayor Liu Ziyuan, expressing the frightened experience of mother and daughter. Flight 480 has issued an apology and said it will review the handling process. The Municipal Police Bureau pointed out that the case was reported without verification, and the false accusation and other suspects have been dealt with. News highlights: Miss Chen of Taipei City recently purchased a mobile power bank on an e-commerce platform, and suddenly caught fire about an hour after the first charge after use, causing the walls, bed, and pillow to burn black, and 2 people in the family were sent to the hospital due to smoke inhalation. Miss Chen said that this power bank is a new product, and a fire broke out when it was first charged, but fortunately it was found in time, otherwise the consequences would be unimaginable. Ms. Chan suffered minor burns and estimated that the financial loss was more than 10,000 yuan, and the e-commerce platform has assisted in contacting the manufacturer to discuss compensation. News highlights today, 17th, the strong continental cold air mass continues to influence, and the temperature in Taiwan is low, with a low temperature of 11-12 degrees in the north and northeast, a high temperature of 12-14 degrees during the day, 16-18 degrees in the central and Huadong, and 20-21 degrees in the south. There were localized brief rains in the eastern half and mountainous areas, scattered rains in the southern flats, and long waves and strong winds along the north coast of Keelung and the Hengchun Peninsula. The temperature will be cold tonight until tomorrow morning, so please keep warm. The temperature will rise from Thursday, 20th, and the weather will be sunny and warm. News highlights: Aina Ashita, who is known as a genius child star, was recognized for her cute appearance and superb acting skills after her debut at the age of 3, and even became the ideal type of Shahei Adani. On the 14th, she wore a black dress to attend the 48th Japan Academy Film Awards, attracting everyone's attention. The 20-year-old Aina Ashita continues to perform well in the entertainment industry, and is not sloppy in her studies, currently studying at Keio University's Department of Political Science, and entering Keio Girls High School with a score in the top 2% in Japan. News highlights: kidney disease occurs in 1 in 8 adults in Taiwan, and patients with kidney disease often have eye diseases. Since both the kidneys and the eye rely on microvasculature to function, kidney disease can affect the blood vessels in the eye, leading to eye conditions such as retinopathy. Studies have shown that nearly half of patients with chronic kidney disease are at risk of retinopathy. The more severe the kidney disease, the more obvious the eye problems are, and patients should seek regular medical attention. Patients with diabetes, kidney disease, or dialysis should have regular eye check UPS every 3 to 6 months to avoid vision deterioration or blindness. News highlights: according to the latest poll by the Taiwan Public Opinion Foundation, although only 32.6% of the public approve of the general recall of Pan-Blue legislators, 57.8% disapprove, 42.6% of the public are likely to participate in the second-order signature. According to Yao Yinglong's analysis, this shows that the likelihood of a recall case passing the second-order petition is gradually increasing. In particular, 79% of DPP supporters are willing to participate, indicating a high willingness to participate in the second-order joint signature. The poll was conducted between March 10 and 12, 2025, with a sample size of 1,079 people and a margin of error of about plus or minus 2.98%. News highlights: in order to counter the general recall, Kuomintang chairman Zhu Lailun led the party legislators to put forward a proposal for an anti-martial law and anti-abolition referendum on the 17th, emphasizing the need to protect democracy and oppose the DPP's undermining of Taiwan's democracy and social justice. However, Ke Jianming, the general secretary of the DPP caucus, responded to this, criticizing Zhu Lailun for holding an improper press conference in front of the meeting, and accusing the KMT of repeatedly deceiving the people, which was like holding a farewell ceremony for himself. Kay also said that the issue of the military trial law and the abolition of the death penalty has been dealt with, and the death penalty has also been carried out under the DPP government. News highlights: after investigation by the Immigration Bureau, Ya's residence permit in Taiwan was revoked in accordance with the regulations on cross-strait people-to-people relations, and she was required to leave the country within 10 days, otherwise she would be forcibly expelled. Ya cried and clarified the fake marriage news on the community, emphasizing that her 3 children were all born in Taiwan, and accused of being smeared. Although she praised Taiwan's health insurance, she could not calm the public anger and admitted that she was scared inside. News highlights: Hu Minsun, the granddaughter of the famous anti-China General Hu Lian, recently publicly announced in the video that she would erect a monument to the People's Liberation Army and emphasized that Taiwan and China should be one family. During the filming of the film in Ankai, Kinmen, Hu Minsun mentioned that he would work hard to deal with the erection of the monument, and said that the PLA generals in the 1949 Battle of Gunningtou were worth remembering. This remark caused many netizens to scold angrily, thinking that she was licking the Communist Party and offended her grandfather's anti-China stance. News highlights: the Legislative Yuan's Home Affairs Committee today reviewed a draft plan to increase the 7-day statutory holiday for workers, and Interior Minister Liu Shifang said that the resumption of the 7-day holiday is not a real problem, and the current measures for the implementation of commemorative days and holidays have met the norms. She stressed that the issue of holidays should be dealt with by the Ministry of Labor, and pointed out that there is no consensus on the issue of holidays, so it is not appropriate to rush into legislation. News highlights: Kim So-hyun and Kim Se-ron's 6-year relationship was recently exposed, and an intimate photo was made public. Kim So-hyun denied the relationship at first, but later changed his words and admitted that he had been in a secret relationship for 2 years, which caused heated discussions. Subsequently, a nude photo of washing dishes was exposed, although it was covered up by a mosaic, but the version circulated on the internet, showing that he was wearing grey shorts. Some netizens questioned the authenticity of the photo and discussed whether Kim So-hyun was wearing underwear, and some people thought that it might be a fake picture synthesized by AI. News highlights: on Sunday, the Immigration Department, IMD, held the New Resident Dream Exchange session, which attracted the participation of 100 overseas Chinese students and new residents. With the expansion of the application of the Basic Law for new residents, Chu Fa-hao, an expatriate from Myanmar, was admitted to work in the science and technology industry after graduating from university, successfully applied for a residence permit and obtained new resident status. The New Resident Empowerment Development Information Network set up by the Immigration Department provides services in 7 Chinese languages, integrates information on medical treatment and employment, and helps new residents integrate into Taiwanese society more smoothly, and the government also hopes to attract more international professionals. News highlights: in the general recall boom in Taiwan, 35 Blue Committee members have passed the first stage of recall threshold and entered the second stage of CO signing. According to the latest poll by the Taiwan Public Opinion Foundation, 42.6% of respondents are likely to participate in the second-order signature, while 52.9% will not. Polls show that the majority of people do not support K. Jianming's call for a total recall, but there are still 3 out of 3 supporters. DPP supporters are more active, while KMT supporters are lukewarm. According to the analysis, the increased chance of the second-order recall and joint signature may have an uncertain impact on Taiwan's democracy. News highlights: after China's 2 sessions, Xi Jinping promoted the strategy of internal unification and achieved reunification through Taiwan's internal forces. The Taiwan government has strengthened the United Front of Prevention, and President Lai Ching-te has put forward 17 strategies to unite Taiwan. However, there are concerns about the links between overseas Taiwanese and overseas Chinese associations, such as the Taiwan Chamber of Commerce in New York, and Chinese organizations. The participation of some of the Chamber of Commerce officials in Chinese-backed events raises questions about whether they have been infiltrated by the United Front, reflecting the diversification of China's strategy toward Taiwan and the expansion of its global influence. News highlights: recently, a large dark blue line group in the Kuomintang 2028 struggles to govern leaked a controversial dialogue, and the moderator bluntly said, "China is much stronger than us, can we fight?" He also said that anti-communist remarks should no longer appear, and believed that the focus should be on the DPP and Taiwan independence elements. This remark sparked heated discussions among netizens, with some questioning whether to abandon the anti-communist stance, and some voices thought that this was a deliberate anti-string, and the discussion was hot. News highlights: actress Da.S, Su Ziwan, died of influenza complicated by pneumonia and was buried in Jinbeihan 41 days later. The ceremony is limited to close family members, and the media reported that Wang Xiaofei did not appear, and it was recently reported that Da.'s 2 children did not seem to attend, which attracted attention. Wang Xiaofei's current wife, Mandy, shared a photo of taking her child to art class on IG, suspected of revealing that the child did not attend the funeral. The paparazzi Ge Saiki also expressed his opinion on this, thinking that the S family's approach was unreasonable. Big S's sudden death made relatives and friends sad. His sister Xiao S took a leave of absence for half a year, and her husband Gu Junyi lost weight due to injuries and was unable to attend work. News highlights: a tragedy occurred in Baitun District, Taichung City, where a 39-year-old father took care of his 3-year-old son and 1-year-old daughter alone because his wife was away from work. The father first fed his 1-year-old daughter and let his 3-year-old son play in the bathroom, but after more than 10 minutes, he found that his son was drowning and was still declared dead after being rushed to the hospital. After the police investigation, the police will report to the prosecutor for an examination to investigate the cause of the boy's death and whether there is any liability related to negligent death or violation of the children's law. News highlights: a man in Zhonghua broke into other people's houses for no reason last year in order to live broadcast the meat dumpling ceremony, and broadcast the whole process to Facebook, causing dissatisfaction among the bereaved family, and was finally sued. The ceremony is a traditional ritual to remove evil, and the man ignores the grief of the bereaved family because he wants to increase the viewing rate, and filmed the process of the mage's practice, which caused controversy. The court sentenced the man to 50 days in detention and condemned his actions for a lack of empathy. The ritual is derived from folk customs and is used to ward off evil spirits, especially those who hang themselves or hang themselves. News highlights: a woman surnamed Wei in Taichung took her 2 daughters to visit the Slight 480 department store, but was mistaken for a thief. The security guard mistakenly accused his 4th daughter of being involved in theft, and called the police to send the mother and daughter to the police station, and the girl was so frightened that she cried. After the police investigation, it was found that the Slight machine was abnormal and caused a false alarm, and the whole incident was a oolong. The mother, unable to bear the fright of her daughter, complained to the mayor and decided to file a complaint against Slight. Slight later admitted negligence and said it would review the handling procedures, while the preservation would be investigated for false accusations and other crimes. The police stressed that training will be strengthened to avoid similar incidents. News highlights: recently, memory prices have continued to rise, and YMTC announced that it will raise by 10% from April 1, driving the stock price of the pan memory community to rise. The stock prices of PTI and Pnan soared, while Winbond and Nanyok faced selling pressure. Although the market demand has not rebounded significantly, the DeepSeek boom has driven the development of China's industry, and the spot market has gradually recovered. In addition, the rise of quantum computing has also become a new business opportunity for memory. PTI benefited from Micron's expansion of DRAM packaging and testing orders, and the stock price rose to the limit, and the operation is expected to continue to grow. News highlights: NVIDIA's recent GTC developer conference attracted more than 25,000 attendees, focusing on the development of its next-generation AI chips. Although the current Blackwell series has begun to be shipped on a large scale, the real focus of the industry is the yet-to-be-announced next-generation chip Rubin, which is expected to significantly improve performance compared to Blackwell and drive the growth of NVIDIA's data center business. Although NVIDIA's share price has recovered slightly after the recent shocks, it still faces challenges from its own competitors and Chinese start UPS, and there is still uncertainty about future market demand. News highlights valuations of large tech stocks have fallen recently, with many analysts predicting that the decline is not over, and the estimated P/E ratio of the Tech 7 has fallen to 26, leaving room for decline. Nonetheless, history shows that technology stocks often pay off after they fall. Analysts believe that these tech companies are expected to return to an upward trajectory as the economic and market conditions become clearer. News highlights the Internal Affairs Committee reviewed the draft law on the implementation of Memorial Days and holidays on the 17th, and the Kuomintang and the People's Party legislators advocated the restoration of 7-day statutory holidays for laborers, and the number of holidays should be clearly regulated by law to protect the rights and interests of laborers. Liu Shifang responded that the current regulations have met the requirements, and the new holidays must consider the national interest, and suggested that the planning should be made after building social consensus. He pointed out that the current national holiday has reached 115 to 116 days, and stressed that the adjustment of the number of holidays needs to be fully evaluated. News highlights recently, the general recall campaign has entered a critical stage, and after the review of the Central Election Committee, 35 recall signatures of the Blue Committee have entered the first stage, while none of them have been approved by the Green Committee. Zheng Huangcheng, a former member of the Green Camp election, pointed out that although the public is currently disgusted with the DPP's governance, the success rate of the Green Committee's recall is still higher than that of the Blue Committee, and the Blue Camp's recall of the Green Committee is not good, especially the Taitung Blue Committee. Huang Jianbin has a very high chance of being recalled. He predicted that Wang, Ng, and Chen Ying would have a very high chance of being recalled, while the Green Committee might face a challenge to recall. News highlights according to a recent announcement, iOS Line 15.2.2 has an abnormal automatic backup frequency, which prevents chat history from being backed up normally. If you change your phone or reinstall Line, your chat history will be lost. Line urges users to update to version 15.2.3 or manually change their backup settings. Users can adjust the automatic backup frequency in the settings, choose to backup daily or every 3 days, and make sure that iCloud or Google Drive is turned on for backup. News highlights the entrance examination for the selection of freshmen in central China at Yanping High School in Taipei, a private school in Taipei, was held yesterday, attracting 3,800 candidates. The essay title that day, I Shed Tears, caused heated discussions on the internet, and many candidates' essays involved the death of family members. One parent revealed that most of the students in the class wrote about the death of their parents or loved ones, and some even wrote about the death of the whole family. The topic sparked discussion, and many people felt that for students, such a subject could have a bad influence on their writing, as it was difficult to avoid the plot of the death of a loved one. News highlights the 48-year-old DS, Su Ziwan, died of illness in Japan last month and was buried in the Rose Garden of Jinbeisan on the 15th of this month. On the same day, Xiao S's wife and family personally bid farewell to Big S, but Wang Xiaofei did not show up. Wang Xiaofei's wife Mandy posted on IG, implying that her and S's 2 children did not attend the burial ceremony that day, and revealed that she accompanied her children to handmade classes in Taipei that day. The move sparked discussions, with some netizens criticizing and caring about the incident, and expressing dissatisfaction with the excessive attention of the media. News highlights South Korean actress Kim Se-ron died at home last month at the age of 25. Recently, Kim Se-ron's mother publicly accused her ex-boyfriend Kim So-hyun and his agency, and disclosed intimate photos of the two, breaking the news that Kim So-hyun had denied a relationship, and later admitted that she had been dating. Kim Se-ron's family demanded an apology from Kim So-hyun and accused Kim So-hyun's company of not recognizing Kim Se-ron's contributions. Kim Se-ron's mother also decided to file a lawsuit against YouTuber Lee Jin-ho for defamation and will hold a press conference to respond to the truth. News highlights a male college student in the literature group recently posted an article on Card asking about immigration, which sparked heated discussions. Many netizens suggested that Southeast Asian countries have a low residency threshold, and some suggested that if the family has no money, it is better to stay in Taiwan and work hard. Some people referred to the relaxation of immigration conditions in Germany and pointed out the many benefits that can be enjoyed by marrying and having children there. Some netizens also mentioned immigration options such as Canada, Vietnam, and Thailand, and emphasized that language skills and job opportunities are the key to successful immigration. News highlights Chinese mainland's Ministry of State Security recently publicly accused Taiwan's cyber warfare wing of the Information Communications and Telecommunications Army of being involved in cyber attacks and infiltration activities, and locked up 4 active members, including their names, birthdays, positions, ID numbers, and other personal information. Since its inception in 2017, the group has been accused of providing cyber support to Taiwan independence forces, conducting cyber operations such as stealing, sabotage, and counter-propaganda, infiltrating critical infrastructure in Chinese mainland, and sending phishing emails, according to the Ministry of State Security. The Ministry of State Security stressed that it will continue to crack down on the cyber activities of Taiwan's Information and Telecommunications Army, and condemned its behavior as a clumsy attempt to seek independence. News highlights Kim S.A. Iran's father criticized Kim So-hyun's agency, gold medalist, for failing to fulfill its responsibilities and publicly displayed the company's contact records with Mr. Kim S.A. Iran, accusing it of mishandling. Kim's father decided to file a defamation lawsuit against YouTuber Lee Jin-ho because Lee Jin-ho had slammed Kim Se-ron and Kim So-hyun for hype. The Kim family will hold a press conference to clarify the incident, emphasizing that the relationship between Kim S.A. Iran and Kim So-hyun is true, and asking the society to face up to it and give it respect. News highlights actress Jun, Cai Junru, and Lee Yuxi have undergone a marriage change a few days ago, but their relationship has been repaired. On his 49th birthday in June, Lee Yi presented a Chanel diamond ring and wrote "Happy Wedding," which was sweet. June happily revealed that Lee Yi deliberately asked her best about the style she liked before buying the ring. June chose to celebrate in a low-key manner, eating steak with family and sharing graduation photos. She has recently worked hard to pursue a master's degree and has rejuvenated her health, happily laughing at herself for turning 50 years old into 30 years old. News highlights Hyun Bin recently visited Taiwan again and came to endorse health food. This time, he deliberately appeared as Prince Charming on White Day, and expressed his desire to visit the night market for snacks. However, he still chose to go to Tahitian Spicy Hot Pot to dine, showing his preference for this restaurant. That night, Hyun Bin wore a grey suit and looked relaxed, interacted intimately with a female friend, hugged him, and then hitchhiked back to the hotel. The overall itinerary showed his friendliness and courtesy. News highlights South Korean actor Kim So-hyun has recently been involved in controversy, because the news of Kim Se-ron's relationship with him when he was a minor has been exposed again. On the 16th, a group of photos of Kim So-hyun and Kim S.A. Iran preparing to enter the house at the door of the apartment in 2015 circulated on the internet, when Kim Se-ron was only 15 years old. Although Kim So-hyun emphasized that the two only dated Kim S.A. Iran when he became an adult, the man in the photo was wearing a coat from Kim So-hyun's current dialect, which made the outside world question the time of their relationship. The controversy continues. News highlights GD was unexpectedly selected to participate in the dance challenge at the encore concert of SYNK, Parallel Line held by the popular South Korean girl group aespa in Seoul. When he found out that he had been chosen, he was stunned at first, then stood up and danced the whiplash choke neck dance, and hilariously pressed his neck, making the audience laugh. After the jump, he shyly bowed his head and folded his head. Netizens said too cute and super funny, and some people laughed that he didn't seem to know that he would be discovered. News highlights a series of violent incidents occurred in Pingtung in the early hours of the morning. At 0:44 am on the 17th, a shooting incident occurred on Rugwang South Road, and the two factions fired 25 shots due to a dispute, causing 5 people to be slightly injured. Preliminary investigation revealed that the incident stemmed from a dispute between a man and miscommunications and was related to a previous case of smashing a shop in the Banton area. The police have identified the vehicle involved in the case and the specific target, and are fully pursued. News highlights South Korean actress Kim S.A. Iran passed away on the 16th of last month, and the family, in an attempt to save her reputation, accused Kim So-hyun, YouTuber Lee Jin-ho and SBS reporter Kang Kyung-yoon of being responsible for her death. On the 17th, through the YouTube channel of Kwon Young-chan, president of the Performing Arts Suicide Prevention Association, an AI memorial video made by Kim Se-ron's family was released. In the film, Kim S.A. Iran expressed his gratitude to his fans and family and left his last words. The film made many viewers feel heartache, and the message area was full of grief and reluctance. News highlights on the 15th, the Taichung City Police received a burglary report from the S-Light 480 bookstore, found that the suspected thief was an elementary school girl, and brought the girl, her mother, and sister back to the police station for clarification. After investigation, it was found that it was a false report of theft, and the girl was so frightened that she cried. Afterwards, the family filed a complaint against S-Light and complained to Mayor Lu Ziyuan. Mayor Lu expressed his understanding of the family's grievances, criticized S-Light for not doing fact-checking and abusing police force, and demanded that S-Light and the security company be responsible for the follow-up treatment. She also supports the police acting in accordance with the law, but believes that the handling process should be more delicate and requires improvement. News highlights a drowning case occurred in Baitun District, Taichung City on the evening of the 16th. The 39-year-old father surnamed Zhang took care of his 1-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son at home, and was suspected of leaving his son alone in the bathroom to take a bath, while he fed his daughter in the living room. After 10 minutes, no movement was heard in the bathroom, and Zheng's father went to check and found his son lying in the bathtub with no signs of life. Although he was sent to the hospital for emergency treatment, his son was eventually pronounced dead. A preliminary investigation revealed that the son had no external injuries and that the cause of death was pending judicial examination. Further clarification of the details of the case is ongoing. News highlights Interior Minister Liu Shifang mentioned Taiwan and China are one country when attending the DPP's People's Policy briefing in Darwin on the 16th, which sparked discussion. In an interview on the 17th, Liu Shifang emphasized that this side is the Republic of China, and the opposite side is the People's Republic of China, and asked the media, "Do you have any doubts?" On the question of whether it meets the definition of the Constitution, Liu Shifang responded that he was unclear, but reiterated the status quo on both sides of the strait. News highlights when analyzing the national security meeting held by President Li Qiang on the 13th, Xie Jinhe mentioned that President Li put forward 17 response strategies to the threat of Chinese mainland, and stressed that the reasons behind President Li's tough stance may be related to the positive actions of former U.S. President Trump. He pointed out that the recent changes in international politics, especially the U.S. statement on Taiwan's defense, seem to be sending a clear signal to Taiwan calling on Taiwan to strengthen its national defense. Xie Jinhe believes that the biggest enemy facing Taiwan is the Communist Party of China, and Taiwan's internal sense of friend and foe is weak, which makes it easier for China to infiltrate Taiwan. He pointed out that President Li's tough action this time may be a response to the current international situation and the attitude of the U.S. side. News highlights Kuomintang legislator Luo's Haiqiang recently said that when he visited the streets, he deeply felt the people's anger at political confrontation and criticized the ruling party for inciting hatred and plunging Taiwan into separatism. He called on the public to turn their anger into rational action, express dissenting opinions through voting, and stressed that "come out and vote, disagree" is the key to the Blue Camp's countermeasures, and it is expected that the whole of Taiwan will enter the recall voting stage in August. News highlights in the early morning of today, 17th, a shooting incident occurred on Ruguang South Road in Pingtung, suspected to have caused a conflict due to the violation of miscommunication, and the two sides choked each other on the internet, resulting in a shootout. In the case, 3 gunmen were suspected to have used pistols, rifles, and shotguns to open fire, causing minor injuries to 5 people and not life-threatening. A large number of bullet casings and bullet holes were left at the scene, and the preliminary police investigation revealed that the shootout may be related to the previous smashing of the shop in Banton, and the case is still under further investigation. News highlights Maximo, a 61-year-old fisherman from Peru, had planned a 2-week fishing trip when a storm veered off course and left him adrift at sea for 95 days. He quenched his thirst from rain and ate cockroaches, seabirds, and turtles to survive when supplies were in short supply, and was eventually found and rescued by an Ecuadorian patrol ship. Despite his critical health, he survived the difficult days and was eventually reunited with his daughter and returned home, a miraculous survival story that has been widely discussed. News highlights recently, the norovirus epidemic has spread, with 250,000 diarrhea visits in a single week, and the number of cluster cases is the highest in the past 5 years. Norovirus is highly contagious and can be caused by contact with contaminated food, objects, or droplets from sick people. The doctor reminds you to wash your hands frequently, disinfect them, and avoid using mobile phones in the toilet. Symptoms of infection include watery diarrhea, vomiting, fever, etc., and the symptoms are more severe in people with poor immunity. If the infection is infected, water and electrolytes should be supplemented, irritating foods should be avoided, and high-quality protein should be supplemented to promote gastrointestinal repair. News highlights recently, the South Korean entertainment industry has become a hot topic again because of the relationship between Kim So-hyun and the late actress Kim Se-ron. Kim Se-ron was only 15 years old when she dated 27-year-old Kim So-hyun in 2015, and some netizens compared her photos before and after falling in love and found that her temperament quickly matured in just a few months, which made many people think that this was forced maturity. Kim Se-ron's family also decided to file a lawsuit for defamation because Kim Se-ron was harassed by Lee Jin-ho before his death, and denied the doubts on the internet about Kim Se-ron's own script. News highlights a female staff member of an animal hospital recently shared a surprising story of asking for help. A female owner was ridden by an unsterilized golden hound because she was sleeping naked, and she was worried that she would become pregnant, so she sought help from the hospital. The employee advised her to see an obstetrician and gynecologist and to have her dog ligated. However, a few days later, the woman called again to say that the dog was still riding her. After understanding, the woman had repeatedly sought similar help from different animal hospitals, and it sparked heated discussions among netizens. Some pointed out that it involved physical and mental health issues, and reminded her that she should seek psychological counseling. News highlights a 3-year-old boy drowned in Baitan District, Taichung City. At that time, the boy and his 1-year-old daughter were bathing under the care of his father, and after the daughter was washed, the father carried her out of the bathroom, while the boy stayed in the bathroom to play in the water. After 12 minutes, the father found no movement in the bathroom, went in to check and found the boy drowning, and was pronounced dead despite being rushed to the hospital. Preliminary investigation revealed that the water depth of the bathtub was only 20 centimeters, and the cause of death is still to be clarified. Prosecutors will conduct an autopsy and investigate whether there is a wrongful death and a violation of the juvenile law. News highlights President Li Qiang announced the 17 strategies to deal with the CCP's infiltration, and then the mainland's Ministry of State Security issued an article to counter it, exposing the personal information of Taiwan's information and telecommunications military personnel, and threatening to hold them accountable for life. The Information Communication Army responded that the CCP used public pictures to piece together accusations in an attempt to intimidate the people of Taiwan, and emphasized that its core task is to maintain defense information security. In recent years, the CCP has frequently undermined regional stability through military provocations and cyber attacks, which have been condemned by the international community. The ICT Army will continue to strengthen information security protection to ensure national security. News highlights: South Korean actor Kim So-hyun has recently been caught in a storm of public opinion, and the outside world has questioned that he and Kim Se-ryan have been dating each other when they were minors. Although the agency emphasized that the two dated, Kim Se-ryan as an adult, the 2015 photos circulating on the internet showed the two going home together, causing controversy. Fans speculated from the man's jacket that the shooting time may be from the end of 2014 to the beginning of 2015, but some netizens pointed out that the details are different, the two sides have different accounts, and the incident continues to ferment. News highlights: the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, launched a general recall campaign, and the KMT countered with an anti-martial law and anti-abolition referendum. Chairman Zhu Liluan stressed that Taiwan's democracy needs to be protected by a referendum, and criticized the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, for undermining democracy and essentially abolishing death, making it difficult for social justice to be served. KMT legislators accused the government of using justices to explain the abolition of the death penalty, restrict freedom of speech, and even put Taiwan at risk of war. The Kuomintang stressed that it is up to the whole people to decide Taiwan's future, reject dictatorship, and safeguard public opinion. News highlights: Tae Yang, 2314, and Li Yingfang, 2911, have been listed as fully delivered shares since March 18 due to the net value per share falling below 5 yuan, and the market opened today, 17. Kang Kong KY, 4943, also hit the fall limit due to the net value per share of less than 3 yuan, in addition to maintaining full delivery and adopting split trading. The stock exchange pointed out that the financial status of Tae Yang and Li Yingfang met the conditions for changing the transaction, while Kang Kong KY will adopt a stricter trading method because its net value is less than 30% of the share capital. The selling pressure of the third-tier stocks is heavy, and the sell orders of the fall limit are accumulated. News highlights: the news of the divorce of Korean star Lee Si-hyun, Lee Si-young, and her 9-year-old entrepreneur husband Cho Seung-hyun was exposed, and the brokerage company confirmed that the divorce process was underway. The two got married in 2017 and have a son. Lee Si-hyun once became popular for Boys Over Flowers, and in recent years has attracted attention again with the Netflix series Sweet Home. According to Korean media reports, the two parties have reached a consensus on divorce and submitted relevant documents to the court in early 2025, and are currently coordinating the details. News highlights: 24-year-old Korean star Kim Se-ryan was found dead at home on February 16, but it was recently reported that Kim So-hyun, who was suspected of having belonged to the same company, demanded 700 million won, about 15.83 million Taiwan dollars, in compensation from her, and issued a letter of deposit, suspected of indirectly causing the tragedy. Through the YouTube channel of Kwon Young-chan, president of the Korean Performing Arts Suicide Prevention Association, the family released a memorial video made with AI technology, allowing Kim Se-ron to say goodbye to fans and family, thank those who supported her, and hope that everyone will remember her brilliant and warm appearance. After the film was exposed, fans were reluctant and mourned. News highlights: there was an incident in Taipei Tianmu where a man pestered a woman and overturned the goods in a fruit store, but fortunately, the clerk stopped it, and it was actor Dong Jikson. Seeing this, he immediately cared, and humorously posted afterwards, "I accidentally sold the unsaleable strawberries." Netizens praised him for being handsome and righteous, jokingly saying that the man was lucky not to do it, otherwise he might not be able to get a bargain. Police said the man had compensated for the damaged goods, while the woman was escorted away by police and did not file a complaint. News highlights: a group assault occurred in a shrimp fishing farm in Wuja Township, Yulan late at night on the 16th, and 7 drunk anglers were unhappy due to physical collisions, and they fought and the fishing rods flew together. In the scuffle, a calm brother was in the brawl rock zone, but he was still focused on shrimp fishing and was not affected. Police arrived at the scene and arrested 6 people, while another escapee is still being pursued. The whole case was transferred for investigation on suspicion of obstructing order and harm, and the police called on the public to deal with disputes rationally and not to accidentally violate the law due to impulse. News highlights: 2 suspected related incidents occurred in Pingtung last night, first smashing a store, followed by a shootout. After receiving the report, the police found 26 bullet casings left at the scene, and there were 4 vehicles facing each other at the scene of the shootout, which quickly dispersed after the two sides clashed, leaving a bullet hole car. The police have preliminarily determined that the incident is related to the transmission of the girl, which may trigger a clash between the two factions, and has confirmed that the 5 injured are related to the incident. Police are still investigating whether there were any violations that led to retaliatory clashes. News highlights: as of March 17, 117 of the 127 listed companies with a capital of more than 10 billion yuan have submitted their 2024 financial reports, and the remaining 10 have not yet been submitted, and today is the deadline. Failure to deliver on time will result in a penalty imposed by the stock exchange. The stock exchange reminds that listed companies should simultaneously announce the formatted financial report and e-book, and upload the scanned report verified by the accountant, so that investors can check the financial report and related information at the Public Information Observatory. News highlights: U.S. stocks have been falling recently, while Chinese equities are strong and European equities are also solid. The market generally believes that this is the result of the fact that the United States is no longer an exception, with capital flowing out of the United States and into China and Europe. However, financial writer Yang believes that the exceptionalism in the United States stems from the long-term record high performance of U.S. stocks. If the U.S. is no longer an exception, returns from ETFs such as SPY and QQQ could fall. Yang pointed out that the U.S. economy has not experienced a long-term recession, and the hegemony of the U.S. dollar is the key. In the short term, capital flows to China and Europe, but in the long term it may flow back to the United States. There are still many uncertainties in the market in the future, which are worth paying attention to. News highlights: the Kuomintang Legislative Yuan Caucus has listed returning leave to the people as a priority bill for the new session, and the proposal will upgrade the implementation measures for commemorative days and festivals into law. Home Minister Lao Shifang pointed out that the resumption of the 7-day holiday is not a real issue, and said that the current approach is more flexible, stressing that the number of holidays needs to be comprehensively evaluated. When the Legislative Yuan reviewed the draft, the content of the proposals varied greatly, and some legislators proposed to increase holidays, but Liu Shifang believes that it is necessary to build consensus to avoid holidays that are only for specific occupations and may have an impact on small businesses. News highlights: a strong continental cold air mass is coming, and the sudden drop in temperature makes people want to take supplements, but excessive food supplements may damage the kidneys. A man originally had 3 highs and poor kidney function, and his wife took food supplements for 3 consecutive days in order to improve his health, but unexpectedly, the man's whole body was weak, his heartbeat and blood pressure plummeted after eating, and the potassium ion was as high as more than 8 points, which was close to the danger of sudden death. Physicians point out that the composition of tonic foods is too complex, and patients with chronic kidney disease may not be able to bear the burden, so they need to be cautious about supplementation. The medical team urgently lowered potassium and performed dialysis to save the man's life. News highlights: after Mr. Andy, a teacher of the YouTube channel Crowd, broke up with Jianing, a controversy broke out, accusing Jianing and his family of remitting the profits from the channel to his parents' account. The public reported that Jianing was suspected of tax evasion, and the IRS has begun an investigation. The accountant pointed out that the IRS will conduct inspections in 4 aspects: income tax, omission of income, repatriation of overseas funds and asset declaration, and if problems are found, they may be punished according to law. News highlights: doctors remind that when buying fruits, it is necessary to check the appearance and avoid choosing fruits with discolored skin, overripe or moldy skin. Moldy fruits contain harmful toxins, such as yellow yeast toxins and glucotoxins, which may cause gastrointestinal upset, food poisoning or increase the risk of liver cancer. Even if the moldy part is removed, it is still not recommended to eat it because the mold can penetrate deep into the pulp. Fruits should be kept dry and ventilated when preserved, and consumed as soon as possible to avoid health hazards. News highlights: Korean star Kim So-hyun was revealed to have dated the late actress Kim Se-ron, and after the breakup, he was suspected of collecting debts and exposed intimate photos, which attracted the attention of the outside world. Actress Tang Wei was asked about this when she attended the event on the 16th, bluntly saying "I don't know him," and emphasized that she did not pay attention to Kim So-hyun's controversial reports. Although netizens pointed out that Tang Wei and Kim So-hyun had taken a photo together, Tang Wei clarified that he was not familiar, which caused heated discussions among fans and defended her, calling for not shifting the focus to unrelated characters. News highlights: some netizens posted that her boyfriend only brushes his teeth once a day, but he has no tooth decay and fresh breath, and is even called textbook level by the dentist, which makes her feel very magical. Despite the fact that her boyfriend smokes cigarettes and has cigarette smoke, his teeth are in good health, which has sparked discussions among other netizens, with some people pointing out that the formation of tooth decay is related to genes, and although some people pay attention to oral hygiene, they are still prone to tooth decay, which makes people feel unfair. News highlights: the 13th Global Currency Week, GMW, will be held from 17 to March 23, 2025 to improve the financial literacy of children and young people. Activities include financial education workshops, bank visits, financial competitions, etc., as well as creative competitions and financial book exhibitions to enhance participation. GMW's slogan, Learn, Save, Earn, emphasizes that young people learn to manage money, save for future financial stability, and earn income. Taiwan can learn from GMW and cooperate with school education, families, and financial institutions to jointly promote financial education for young people. News highlights the drone industry has broad prospects, and the market size is expected to reach the trillion level in 2030. There are three paths that can be chosen by Taiwanese manufacturers: direct export, OEM, and fractionalization. Direct exports are affected by political barriers. Although the foundry model can expand production capacity, the profit is low. Focusing on high-tech components can help avoid political issues and maintain high profits. How Taiwan manufacturers choose the appropriate strategy will determine their competitiveness in the global market in the future. News highlights: in 2019, Interstellar Glory successfully launched the Hyperbola 1 Yao-1 rocket into space, becoming a pioneer of China's private rockets, breaking the monopoly of SpaceX and Rocket Lab in the United States, and opening a new chapter in China's commercial spaceflight. Despite 3 consecutive defeats and the latest launch failure, Interstellar Glory is still trying to break through. China is expected to launch more than 38,000 satellites in the future, and the satellite network market is expected to reach 1.5 trillion yuan. News highlights: Hi-Fei Technology, founded in 2005, specializes in the development of fixed-wing drones, and has accumulated profound technical strength in recent years. Last year, in the first military commercial specification drone bid released by the Ministry of National Defense, Hi-Fei defeated a number of traditional powers and successfully won orders of more than 2 billion yuan. In addition to Sea Guard, Hi-Fei's drones can also assist in high-altitude mountaineering and search, with excellent performance, becoming a dark horse in the drone industry. News highlights: the evaluation report of the Philippine plan to plant green electricity back to Taiwan has been completed, but the cost of power transmission has become the focus of attention. The Ministry of Economic Affairs said that although the submarine cable technology is feasible, it still needs to determine the path to estimate the cost, and stressed that the target price per kilowatt-hour is $4, and the cost of transmission will be lower than this before the purchase will be made. The report pointed out that in the short term, it can be transported by battery ship, but the cost per kilowatt-hour is as high as 5.5 yuan, which will be reduced with the development of energy storage technology in the future. In addition, the Ministry of Economic Affairs also plans to assist Taiwan factories to invest in photovoltaic power plants in the Philippines to promote green power cooperation. News highlights: the Ministry of Economic Affairs is expected to decide on the electricity price adjustment plan for next month within 2 weeks, and the overall electricity price is expected to increase by about 6%. The increase in electricity consumption for residential and small shops will be even higher, between 11% and 33%. For example, a household that uses an average of 338 kilowatt-hour of electricity per month will pay about $100 more. The main focus of the increase is on the basic electricity consumption below 330 kilowatt-hour, which Taipower hopes to raise to the 2004 level and narrow the gap with the cost of power generation. The industrial electricity price has been adjusted to a smaller extent, as it has been increased several times and has exceeded the cost of power generation.